And currently, y'all are nearing or already at 5 million views. 'Tis the power of the Bully McGuire. We opened this week not at the Deer Club, but rather the Student Council's room. Yeah, it might have been easy to forget, but Nokotan has been established as their president. Or you could be like me and just associate her VA with a similar president in another Yuri anime. What do you mean Ayano wasn't the president? Well, anyway, this president, who ironically enough kind of looks like Toshino Kyoko, had a whole second group of weirdos to deal with. This included her VP, Neko Nekoyama, which, yeah, try and guess what her motif was. And, as we subtly pointed out in the first episode review, she had been an unknown rival to the Tiger Girl, who, yeah, much like their corresponding animals, there was a significant size difference, both in terms of presence and just physically. I think we may have found the one cat in the world who didn't want to drink her milk. However, and I guess rather appropriately, we wouldn't be following her for most of the episode, and instead focus on the other council members, including the secretary, Kinu Tanunki Koji, whose name obviously has Tanuki in it, so you would associate her with those little tricksters, but I think her spirit animal was more likely Bocchi. Girl, this show isn't about American politics, so you don't have to worry that much. And there was also their treasurer, Chiharu Tsubameya. And of all the student council members, including Nokotan, she did seem like the most level-headed and hardest working. This might have tied in with the animal in her surname, Tsubame, or the Swallow, that are known to have some laser-focused eyes. Now I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that your stand is Horus. We'd quickly learn what her deal was the next day when Chiharu stopped by the Deer Club. Of course, Nokotan was just concerned that her delinquent past would be exposed, so she tried to make sure that her club members were on their best behavior, which in some cases would be just not to be there at all. She also tried to convince her that their club participated in productive and completely safe for work activities.
Good night, everybody.
Yet throughout all of this, Chiharu maintained her deadpan and unflinching expression that would make Rei Ayanami jealous. That is, until she got bathed in deer crackers, which wasn't that more your thing, Nokotan? But yeah, she was actually visibly happy to receive the tasteless crackers, and some brain grass from Nokotan that made some terrifying noises as she pulled them out. So, pretty obviously, especially in a show like this, Chiharu had feelings for Nokotan and would accept even her literal brain rot. Meanwhile, her actual president in Nokotan couldn't get her to bat an eye at her, which cutely enough got her to worry that Chiharu just plain hated her. She didn't, even though her death stares did stem from her being a little jealous of Nokotan's relationship with Nokotan. You know, for surreal comedy, this show has a lot more complicated love triangles than some of the cheesy soap operas I've watched. Granted, I haven't actually watched that many, but point still stands. So yeah, all in all, an actually rather cute segment for one of the members of the student council, so why don't we just move into batshit insanity next? Nokotan, wanting to earn favor with at least one of her kohai, agreed to help Kinu take some inventory in the sports equipment closet. Weren't they right next to the door, so wouldn't those guys have noticed them and—
The answer is don't think about it!
Yeah, I'll outright say, this was one of the weaker jokes of the show. I mean, not only did Nokotan's lampshading feel incredibly heavy-handed, I mean, frankly, I think most people who watch anime are already well aware of this trope, but as I said, a little better storyboarding would have also justified them getting trapped. Like, just have them walk to the back of the closet as they talk, rather than what seems to be right next to the door. Still, I will give them a little pass just for this. Why is it that some of the horror anime I watch don't have faces that good? Yeah, of the three new characters in this episode, Kinu was easily my favorite because of her insanely negative overreactions. Again, much like Bocchi the Rock, it's the kind of dark humor I appreciate, as it just allows the characters to have some great reaction faces, and even tell some rather creative tales of self-destruction.
Nah, just invite Logan Paul, and you'll at least get some hate watchers in.
Though, speaking of musical anime, Nokotan happened to pass by the storage closet and probably could have helped them out had she not broken out into a full-on song sequence. Yeah, much like last week, this was a big expansion of an otherwise throwaway bit in the original manga. Granted, this at least did have a whole page dedicated to it, and she did sing these exact lyrics, but I guess someone on the anime staff figured, hey, we have one of the best singers in Show by Rock and Happiness Charge Precure, so we may as well just have her sing her heart out over some freaking crackers.
Seriously, go back and listen to Where Courage is Born and try to convince me that she wasn't the best singer amongst those four.
But yeah, not only was it hilarious that the girls couldn't be saved because of a random song sequence of all things, but said sequence was legit really well done. Like, I'd totally buy this off of iTunes if only so that I could hear it properly without Koshtan's commentary. Anyway, with their last hope seemingly gone, Kinu actually took it a little better than I would have expected out of her.
コウジさんどこ？ここです。なんで？
Well, she just really wants to meet Freeram.
Anyway, after what could have been a heartwarming scene between the two that just became another case of Kinu freaking out over something that was no big deal really, salvation came a-bucking. Of course though, with Nokotan, it was completely by chance, as for whatever reason, she had been growing shrooms in one of the vaulting stands, and by that I do mean mushrooms, though I wouldn't be surprised if she were growing the other kind. Also, nice touch with the Mario jump sound effect, as she opened up a box full of red and white mushrooms that later turned into normal mushrooms when they cooked them into some rice. But yeah, the episode ended with everyone happily enjoying some illegally grown fungus, while Neko was left all alone in the student console room, and I'm left kind of conflicted as to who I should call the Bocchi of this show.
This was yet another episode where a bunch of new characters were introduced, which you would think would get a little repetitive, and yet by keeping them all unique, it didn't feel at all forced, and in fact, more like a natural progression of things.
Granted, of the three new characters, Neko kind of got left in the dust, but I'm sure she'll get more screen time later, plus Kinu more than covered everyone.
And on top of that, the fact that this anime just keeps adding on to the original manga in the most catchy and insane of ways, and you just get the complete package.
Even with this now 7-member cast, they managed to keep things fairly diverse. I mean, we've gotten characters like the Straight Man, the Yandere, the Kudere, the Nervous Wreck, and the Deer. Yeah, let's go with that. The point is that Kinu and Chiharu do feel like fresh additions to this cast. We do need to see a little more with Neko to give a proper judgment, but she is undeniably adorable and endearing for now. Meanwhile, Chiharu is a great source of dry humor with her non-reactions to everything Koshtan tried, before, adorably enough, standing for Nokotan. It's a great contrast that of course furthers the former's butt monkey status. However, yeah, I gotta say, Kinu stole this episode. While we made a lot of comparisons with Bocchi, she was actually probably far worse, if only because she could come up with some much more creative scenarios of despair. Again, this is a show that's built off of some great reaction faces, which she had plenty of. Though of course, so that we wouldn't forget about the title character of this show, Nokotan had her big musical moment right after Koshtan's from last week. And while nowhere near as memeable, it was honestly just a plain well done song about a dear girl's relationship with her crackers. I mean, just the fact that Megumi Han sung her heart out to something like that made all the funnier, and yet also a legit bop. It also showed the anime staff's dedication to this show, as again, most of this wasn't even in the original manga. With that, and overall just some fun new characters, this is another good outing for the show that's trying its hardest to be a meme, and to its credit, it is working.
Thank you for watching. As always, be sure to check out some of our other videos on this channel.
The weekend is quickly approaching, so maybe you should all just be glad that you made it through another week, or you could be like Kinu and just worry about the inevitability of death. I mean, your life, live it the way you want.
And until next time though, farewell for now my friends, and oh no, these two actually did meet. Well, I'm gonna be sleeping over at friends tonight.